appreciate it. It's going to be a wonderful event and taking you through some of the recap of what we've done this year, talking a little bit about what we're also going to be looking forward to next year. Appreciate the participation. It's always great to see old faces, but also especially great to see new faces, which is a sign of what's happening here in the community in South Park. That being said, I do also want to thank the hospital for hosting us here again this year. Wonderful, appreciate it. Before I turn it over to Jessica, I did want to invite Margaret, President of the hospital, up to say a few words. They're one of the largest stakeholders here in the South Park area. A huge benefit to the community, not just here, but to the downtown LA region and servicing the community here. So that being said, Margaret.
Thank you, everyone. It's wonderful to have you here on our campus. It's always great to have people from our community come here. And I always say, you know, the hospital isn't where you want to be, but if you have to go to a place, I hope you come to our hospital. The hospital is privileged to be a part of this bid. I haven't been here very long. I've been here since the end of March, but it's great to see the work that the bid is doing on behalf of the residents that live in this community. I know it's a lot of effort, but there are wonderful things happening here. About a week ago, we had a presentation from a company that talked about just all the changes within this bid and how it's affecting our community in a positive way. And so we as the hospital here want you to know that we're here for all of our downtown residents, and we want you to see us as your downtown hospital. It's a great place. It's been here for over 127 years. And today we had a very special event right here in this room. We had our 10th anniversary celebration for our trauma center. And we had our city attorney here who happened to be a patient. And it's not a HIPAA violation. He's been publicly saying these things. And we had several other of our patients that came back. And it's wonderful to see when you can see great outcomes of things that happen here in this hospital. But what was really kind of neat is that we had, and you're Officer Flanagan, correct? Okay, we had the entire SWAT team here because one of our patients was a SWAT officer that was injured on the job, and he happened to be a patient here and came back and spoke about his recovery and his experience here. And so we felt very well protected today. It was great to have them all here. But again, welcome to our campus. We love having visitors here, and if you ever want to tour the facility or you're looking for a job of being a volunteer, we're always looking for volunteers also. So appreciate having you on campus. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, welcome to our official South Park annual meeting. We're thankful that all of you are here, and please feel free to get up and get food throughout the presentation. As most of you can see from our agenda, we have quite a lengthy presentation, so I'm going to ask a couple of things. First, we're going to sort of hold questions to the end to not really interrupt the flow. So if you have pieces of paper, take notes if you have questions. I don't want to avoid them, but I want to be respectful. We have folks from the City Attorney Office, LAPD, and Councilman Weezar will be here shortly. So with that, just today's going to be a very, very high-level overview of the year. As most of you know, there's been a lot going on here in South Park. Many of you have been a part of the accomplishments this year, and we can't thank you enough. We're going to touch on some ideas for next year. So with that, I'm going to quickly just run through our budget because it's something that comes up and most people aren't totally familiar with it. If you own property in the South Park bid boundaries, you pay an assessment. That assessment is a combination of a variety of things: lot size, linear frontage, and square footage. Our budget can't change for a 5-year period until we go back out to vote throughout the city process. And because of that, you can see our budget is it's set. We can't vary from it. We have Miranda here from the city clerk's office. She is responsible for holding us accountable to these numbers. Our budget is just under $2 million, and 50% of that entire budget goes towards our clean and safety program. We really understand that if the streets aren't clean and safe, that nothing else that we do really matters. And we really do try to pinch every penny out of that, and Steve, Victor, and Sergio will be telling you more about the programs later on throughout the presentation. About 20% goes to district identity marketing, the banners that you see out, the branding campaign, the holiday decor, really trying to build a sense of community throughout the district. And then we have what's called enhanced beautification, and that is things that improve really public infrastructure, sidewalks, trees. We have some exciting announcements pertaining to those a little bit later on throughout the presentation. And then we have to pay the city to exist, shocker. And we have 5% for contingency and then administrative fees, which really go for things like rent and staff. So moving along, we thought we'd get this meeting started by a video that we worked pretty hard on. We had a lot of people sort of touching on this. And the purpose of this video was to really capture where South Park is today, get people excited about the businesses and restaurants that are here, and really use as an economic development tool. So I'm gonna let you guys get the exclusive preview here today.
Nestled in the southwest corner of downtown LA, South Park might be LA's best kept secret for downtown living and eclectic marketplace opportunities. With unique eateries, a budding public art program, new community facilities like a charter school and family center, South Park is the place to be in downtown LA.
South Park, it's like a hidden gem in Los Angeles. It's a great mix of new, but there's also buildings that have been here, historical buildings for over 120 years. My name is Carmen Zella. I'm the founder and executive director for Do Art Foundation. Faith 47 proposed to do the Swans project on this particular wall. South Park's going into a transformative moment, this birth of beauty, this celebration. We have a platform that we've created with South Park and with the business owners and the local residents to really see how we can place art in the communities. Art has the power to transform communities, create social awareness, and really impact people on an individual level. The South Park bid itself has a spirit of change. They're very contemporary. They're looking toward the future. Within this next year, there's going to be a lot of exciting artwork that's going to be popping up in this area, giving the people of South Park something beautiful to look at, something that is a reminder of the transformation that they will be seeing, witnessing, and a part of. Is really important for us.
My wife and I actually moved to downtown 8 years ago. It's a great urban, dense environment where you can walk everywhere and you've got a local community. And then we realized once you have a child, life changes. My name is Apurva Pandey, and I'm a co-founding board member of Metro Charter Elementary School here in downtown. Our mission is to have a pedestrian-friendly, walkable school that is public, that is open to all, and situated in the heart of downtown. The demographic distribution of downtown is one of the most unique and diverse demographic distributions in the entire country. We don't just have ethnic diversity, we have economic diversity, we have cultural diversity. So we right away knew that the school will reflect the amazing diversity of downtown. We began with 80 students, and this year we've gone up to 155 within 1 year of operation. So we're actually attracting people from other neighborhoods that wouldn't have even considered downtown as an education option. When it comes to something that's started by moms and dads who live in the neighborhood, we just right away felt that South Park welcomed us with open arms.
I guess the thing I love the most about South Park is you're living in an urban environment, but there's a lot more room to sort of enjoy it. I mean, we've got Finham right down the street, this beautiful park there, and museums, there's culture everywhere, and every week there's something new going on here.
Dance is for everybody. You can start dancing when you're a little child, or you can start dancing in your 70s and enjoy it. I'm Linda Valentino, and I'm the owner of Downtown Dance and Movement, which will be opening in South Park in January. Business Improvement District has been amazingly helpful and supportive. They're really happy about us going in here, and they're doing everything that they can to make it an easy process for us. We're going to have 4 large studios, 2 of which can be joined into one big studio for dance events or performances. You could come and take a yoga class, a Zumba class, a tap class. We're going to have lots of dance events on the weekends, so it's going to be a very broad dance center for everybody.
When I was moving to LA, I wanted to have more of a car-free lifestyle, and South Park seemed like the best place for that. A lot of the subway lines are all here, great bus access.
You can walk to the grocery store, you can walk to entertainment, you can walk to the movies. My name is Keith Previtt. We are in South Park, downtown Los Angeles, and I'm the owner of Choco Chicken. There's no gourmet version of fried chicken, and we just sort of took it to another level. The South Park area is its own community. It's nice, it's clean, it's an area where you don't feel unsafe walking your dog at 11 o'clock at night, and that goes right in with what we want from the restaurant. We do love our sports, there's no question about it. And we had an amazing Kings party when the Kings won the Stanley Cup. It was quite special.
South Park has blossomed into this whole new massive infusion of new stuff.
It's the one metropolitan area in any part of the country that's exploded.
This is the place to be. It's Manhattan with good weather.
There you have it. So that video is available on our website, and if you have the ability to distribute it, please let us know. So for those just joining us, please help yourself to food. We're going to jump right into our agenda. We're going to start with our Clean Team Program Manager, Victor Gonzalez. As most of you know, we contract out with the LA Conservation Corps, which is a wonderful organization, and they provide all of the maintenance services in the district. And Victor is our oldest employee at the vet. I know he helps most of you on a daily basis. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Victor.
Thank you and welcome. So, I need to give this part away. So on the table we have an overview page, a one-pager overview of everything that we do. I have staff working 7 days a week. Our times are from 7 to 9:30 at night. Sometimes we do change the schedules depending on ethnic venues that happen in the district. Most of the services we provide is we change all the trash can liners in the district. We pick up any abandoned property or illegal dumping. We pressure wash. We clean the sidewalks every day. We have 32 blocks in the district that we clean every day. We remove graffiti. We have last year we only had 6 doggy dispensers in the district of mud bins. And this year we have 13, actually 15. There's 2 that were added to 11th Street, which they're put out there. We actually install those for them. And we have 15 in the district, and I'll go over those later on. We do any weed abatement. We keep the tree wells. We usually remove all the weeds from tree wells. We don't have a lot of weeds in the district, but we try to maintain the district clean. Most of the guys that are working out there, they're between the ages of 18 and 24. So faces do change. This is like a training program for us. They'll come into the district and work for us for 18 months, and they'll, most of them will finish their high school with the program. And this is one of the projects that they'll come and, they'll be trained. They'll get different trainings. We have different trainings with different projects. One of the good things about this, guys, this year, we had 12 core members, and those are the younger ones. And we have 5 core members that actually got promoted to being a specialist. And when they come into this project over here, the district is divided into 5 different sections. And once they learn everything in the district, then, they'll get promoted to be a specialist. And they'll stay here, for a year. And this year we had 2 people that were working in the district that they did so good that they became supervisors. So within the program. So the mud bins are the ones on your left side, and those are the new ones that we have. We had some old ones that used to be white, and we removed those, and these are the ones we have right now. And this, just for you guys to get an idea, up there is, we have a number of, between June and November, this is how many bags we have put in those boxes. So people are using them out there. The other thing that we do, whenever there's anything happening in the district, sometimes they'll contact the office and they ask if we could support the projects. And this is what we do, like the 5K, splash, anything that happens in the district. Most of the staff I have, they go through trainings throughout the year. Most of my staff are first aid, they're certified in first aid and CPR. We also do trainings. This year we did a training on earthquake awareness, what to do, just in case something happens in the district, because they're out there every day. They also get trained on Ascendo database, and that's the system that we use where we log everything in. Any request that comes from anybody, they'll go into the system. And that's how we keep track of everything that we do. They also do testing modules every 2 months. My drivers actually take a test every 2 months, just to safety driving, just to make sure they're out there, when they're driving out there, safe. Core members, and those are younger guys, they usually get trained on, how to use power equipment, which will be the pressure washer or any power tools that we use out there. We have a couple of them, like the blowers, you probably see them out there, or vacuums, or sometimes the weed eaters too, when we remove weeds. So they get trained on all those things. This is kind of like an overview of the whole year. This is kind of like shows, how many bags we collect on a monthly basis, how many pounds are going into the city, how many bulky items we're picking up in the month, and the square footage of pressure washing, graffiti, everything that we do in the district reflects on this page right here. And one thing that we've been doing this year is we've been encouraging people to call 311 for bulky items. So whenever there's anything out there, we'll make contact with the resident or the person, and then we'll kind of like, or sometimes we'll do it for them. Sometimes we get a lot of illegal dumping in the alleys in the district. So that's when we usually talk to people. And we've been submitting 311 requests to the city ourselves too. And the other page is where we have the monuments. And those are the locations where we have, mostly on the north side of the district. And then we have one right in front of our office, and then we have one on Grand by 14th Street. Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. One thing to note on the bulky items, and some of you may have actually read the LA Times article today on bulky items. The reason if you see somebody actually dumping something on the street, because a lot of the bulky items are generated from property owners or tenants, it's actually illegal, and we need to be reporting that, because what happens is if our clean team is responsible for picking up everybody's bulky trash, it requires them to come, pick it up, put it in the truck, drive it out of the district, and it actually robs them from performing a lot of the basic core functions in the district, emptying the trash bags and whatnot. And just a note on the trash cans, only, I'd say probably 30% of the trash cans in the bid district are owned by the bid, but we do take care of all the city trash cans and all the other trash cans. And I know that is a recurring issue where the bid is really picking up a lot of the slack from the city, but I just wanted to make it clear that we really are on top of that, and despite these things, we are working with the city to try to get them to take a greater handle, especially the things like the bulky items. But if you see someone doing it, please report it, because this is how, this is how these things are going to be eventually taken care of. So with that, safety, security. As many of you know, last year we changed over security providers, and I think we've had a really outstanding year as with the clean team, really integrating technology, recording things, all of the data. If any of you ever have questions, please always know that you can call us, and we keep very detailed records that we can pull up really on demand. Or if you're just curious and want to know, how often are we patrolling or picking up things near your property, we do keep all that information. So, please let us know. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, we're very fortunate to have the president of Street Plus, who actually lives on the East Coast, but is here again for our meeting, Steve Hillard. He's been a great partner. And our new program manager, who many of you have met, Sergio Urena, he he's new to the bid, but not new to downtown. He actually was the head of security at the Wilshire Grand, which, as many of you know, is being newly erected as we speak. So I'm going to turn it over to both of you to walk us through our safety program and innovations that we made this year.
Thank you, Jessica. Welcome, and before I begin, I'd like to thank Jessica, the board, and her staff for selecting Street Plus about a year and a half ago to provide services for the South Park bid. As the video says, certainly the place to be, so thank you very much, we appreciate that. I'd like to start out by giving you some basic information what the program elements are in case you're out there and you need access to services. The primary thing we do is visibility patrols. You'll see the gentlemen and the men and women out there on foot, on police patrol bikes, on segways, and in the vehicle. We operate 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and you'll see here in a few minutes the different shift times that we have, so you can actually see the level of officers that are out there during certain times of the day and days of the week. We also provide personal safety escorts. If you call the dispatch number or you get on the app and request, we'll meet you at your place of business and we'll walk you from your business to where your car is at, as long as we're on the public domain and not on private property. We also do business and merchant checks on a regular basis. We have a schedule where we go out and make sure we make contact with the employees, the business manager, or the property owner of all the properties within the district. And we have statistics on that to show what we're doing when we're meeting with you and the schedule that we have. We also do residential checks and crime prevention checks. The big thing we do is quality of life interactions. Any individual out that is making the environment very uncomfortable for business owners, property owners, people that live, work, and visit the South Park area, that includes panhandling, aggressive panhandling, public intoxication, loitering, trespassing, disturbances, drug activity. You can always call us for any of those activities. We'll respond, do the initial contact, and of course we get our partners directly involved from the Los Angeles Police Department to do the heavy work for us. Our primary goal is to provide information to South Park's residents and people that live and work and visit here, and we use LAPD to actually make the arrests. We also do a lot of hospitality, and we're also out there with a kiosk. You've probably seen our kiosks out at major events, conventions, and other locations throughout the district. This is our deployment schedule here. You can see we have 3 shifts, 7 days a week, and those are the numbers that you'll see. So on the daytime, Monday through Friday, there'll be 4 officers on, and then 4 officers on the second shift, which is the evening shift, and there's 2 on the night shift. Our average response time to any call is between 3 and 5 minutes, and that response time varies based on the transportation mode the officer has at that particular point and where they are in the district to where the call is at. But on average, it's 3 to 5 minutes. Some of our special programs, we have a new program which is noise abatement. Our officers have tools now to measure noise. If you don't know, the national standard for noise in the downtown with residential is 69 decibels. So if you have a complaint that it's too loud, you call us, we'll come out and we'll measure the noise and record the level for you. We do a lot of sidewalk and bench monitoring. This past summer, we had a big increase in loitering individuals that were taking up public space on benches and sidewalks. So we made a special effort to do certain sweeps every day at the beginning of every shift, and we keep those statistics as well. And I believe we've had pretty much 0 for the last couple of months since we intensified that effort. That also goes along with monitoring hotspots. Sergio will talk here a little bit about what he does on a daily basis, but primarily we look at information that we're collecting with technology that Jessica mentioned, and we adapt our deployment plan to meet those ever-changing needs. We also do fixed patrol positions to monitor high pedestrian traffic. If we're getting a lot of panhandling activity around a Starbucks, or we'll have an event over at LA Live where there's something here at the hospital, we deploy our resources to meet those particular needs of high pedestrian volumes. Additional programs, we have designated patrol routes that every individual officer on staff has a particular route they follow. They also have an electronic device that when they're out doing their patrols records where they've been and how long they were there. And that information is available by calling Jessica's office. We can give you a detailed report on the day, the time, how many times we've been by your particular business if you're having some kind of an issue with individuals in front or near your business. We communicate regularly with the Los Angeles Police Department, our great strategic partners here. They're great to work with. I know that our company does work all across the country, and I cannot say that we probably have the best support is from the LAPD. We work in 54 districts now across the country, and it's really nice to have a partner that understands what you're trying to do. They are actively involved, and they're there whenever we need them. So thank you very much for your support, guys. And Sergio attends lots of regular meetings, which is one of them is the weekly crime stats meeting with LAPD. And we also do neighborhood watch meetings too. And now I'll turn it over to Sergio to talk a little bit about what he does during the day.
I don't think I can talk as long as my boss, but I get the best slide of all of them. Only 3 bullet points. But I am the new program manager with South Park. I've been with the bid since August, the end of August, and it's been a very exciting and worthwhile job for me. I'm learning new things. I still interact with LAPD and other agencies, so I enjoy it very much. One of the things that I do on a daily basis and submit to Jessica's office is a daily operational report. So what I do is when I come in every morning, I go through all the tours that are done in the previous 24 hours. And there's 2 programs that I look at, and one is Ascendo, which is electronic form of a daily activity report. Instead of the officers writing and getting, tired hand for writing too long, they enter it into their phones. And the second mode of tracking is called Guard One. And if you've seen officers going around and getting a little blue wand and hitting posts and hitting fences and stuff, it's not because they're mad and they're trying to get their aggravations out, but they're actually marking the time that they've been through that particular area, okay? So once I have all that information down and put down what major occurrences that are significant for Jessica to know, then I take a second look to see what are our hotspots. And basically is if we're having a zone that has individuals that have been drinking, especially alleys, are very prone for people to be drinking and smoking weed and so forth, then I deploy officers during particular times to make sure that if we either catch them or we're there before they get there, we're a deterrent. So that's one thing that I do every morning. With that, then at the end of the week, I submit also reports and numbers to my boss for his reports. And at the end of the month, I do more reports. I love reports, by the way. The numbers will go towards the monthly newsletter that gets sent out to everybody to show what we're doing and what we're accomplishing. Okay, and I think you got covered in number 2 somewhere. All right, and as you can see, my office number, my mobile number is up there, my email. Please feel free to contact me if you have any concerns. If you have a problem that you want us to address, I am more than happy and available for you. My supervisor, program supervisor is Chris Valencia. He works the evening shifts the majority of the time, so if I'm not here during the day, I'm here during the day, he's here in the evening, so with both of us taking care of the biggest portion of the shifts, we'll take care of everything for you, okay?
Just one, thank you, Sergio. Just one last piece. We encourage anyone, if you'd like to learn more about what the Safety Hospitality Ambassadors do, you can certainly call Jessica's office and schedule a time to walk with them, to ride with them, to learn what we're doing, how we're doing it, and when we're doing it, just to become more familiar with what you're paying into every month in your assessment. And so with that, I'll turn it back over to Jessica. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your help and support.
And as you can see, these are just, when we fly through the level of detail that we do keep stats. So like Steve said, and Sergio said, if you're just interested in learning more, you have specific concerns, because we know this is the core function of the bid, please, no issue is too small. That's what we're here for. Please reach out to us. Sergio is available when he's not writing reports to take you to coffee. key to our safety program, as in our maintenance program, is our partnership with LAPD. And I can't say enough how fortunate we are to not only have Senior Lead Officer Danny Reedy here, Sergeant Flanagan, who's back in action after a pretty aggressive knee surgery, all the way to Captain Mike Orb, who many of you know, he's done several walks in the district with residents going over issues. We work hand in hand with these guys on weekends, on nights. They're available all the time, and I can't thank them enough. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the sergeant to talk a little bit about the partnership, South Park. I think statistically we are the safest neighborhood in downtown LA. Just want everyone here to know that because of the hard work. Yep. And Captain Orr called us the safest and cleanest, so we're just going to continue to quote him on that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the sergeant to talk more about our collaboration and any relevant topics that you feel may be useful for the group to know.
Good evening. I don't like to use these things, so hopefully I don't get too close to it and start blasting your eardrums. But I appreciate you guys coming out tonight, especially in the rain and all the traffic. It took me and Officer Reedy a little while to get here from 6th and Wall, because I don't know what's wrong with freeways, but traffic in the downtown area is tremendous tonight. But I really appreciate you coming out, because this shows your support to your community. One of the things I heard tonight regarding South Park is described as a gem, and that's what it is. Back in 1985, I did my first tour here through Central Division, and I think there was one apartment building over on Hill Street around 9th, and that was it. The rest were little shops, little rundown businesses, vacant businesses. And this thing, when I came back here last year, it amazed me how this place has changed. LA Live used to be a parking lot. Now it's a multi-venue entertainment center, just a couple blocks away. So this is a changing area, and it's a great area. A little bit about crime. I know that one crime is too many crimes in the area, but compared to the rest of the division, South Park is the safest. Okay. Our major crime down here is theft, and it's unintended theft. If I could instill anything in you tonight, this is not a saving token, or what you want to call it, for a table at Starbucks, or save my place in line, I'm going to put my cell phone, my laptop, because believe it or not, people do that. They go, oh, there's a table. They sit down their laptop, they walk away, they go to the bathroom, wash their hands, they come out, and they wonder why it's gone. Okay, and that leads to our number one crime down here is theft. Yes, we have some burglary motor vehicles sporadic throughout the area, but nowhere like it is anywhere in the downtown area. Very rarely do we get a serious crime down here, and that's a testament to the bid and to the people who live down here. I see on my talking points, Neighborhood Watch. We're always looking for new Neighborhood Watch groups to join, partnerships. When I talk about partnerships, I really sincerely mean it. To me, a partnership is me helping you, you helping me. Okay, I sat down yesterday with Jessica, and like she said, I came back from knee surgery, and yesterday was the first time I was able to come down and meet her. But I pledged my support to her, and I asked for her support for LAPD, because we can't do it all by ourselves. I mean, you can see a black and white coming a mile away. We need you guys to testify, to call us, let us know what's going on in your community. Calling Officer Reedy, who's a senior lead, he is the only officer that's assigned this area permanently. He is your go-to person. He has about 15 to 20 people underneath him that work this area, but he is the one that's always in this area. And he's the one who goes up and down the streets, goes door to door. He has the freedom to meet people, go to your businesses, go to your residents, go to your apartments. So he is the contact person, okay? And I want to develop a partnership with each one of you. Your businesses, your residents, whatever it takes to make this place a nice, safe area. Okay, I need the contacts, I need the calls to let me know what's going on in this area, just like Officer Reedy does. Legal vending, big issue throughout the city. How many people heard about the committee meeting they had yesterday about legalizing vending? Yeah. Don't know where that's going. Right now, there is a moratorium on what we could do to people that are selling hot dogs, merchandise on the streets, stuff like that. If it's non-food items, we have more latitude of enforcement. We have different sections to apply to trash cans, cleanliness, stuff like that. It's almost impossible to get the health department out here, I'll be honest with you. One thing you'll find of me, I'm going to tell the truth, I'm going to give it straight, it's almost impossible to get the health department out here because of budget cuts with the health department. But we do our best, we try to keep them moving. We have a team dedicated to the LA Live area, and they do come east into South Park to keep the vendors at hand. We have a vice unit that works undercover that keeps the vendors at hand, the scalpers around LA Live. And hopefully in 2015 you'll see a reduction in illegal vending down here. One of the biggest problems we have down here is the homeless encampments. They're growing and growing. And for the life of me, I don't know where they're getting the couches and tables and stuff, but they're turning the sidewalks into little condos. I spent 3 hours the other day with Department of Street Services cleaning up 17th and Grand, and it looked like little tiny bedroom, living room, kitchen area, and they're getting from somewhere. And I have a feeling it's good-hearted people coming down, giving them stuff, see them sitting on the sidewalk, well, that's bad, but we got couches given to them so they don't have to sit on the couch. People come down to feed homeless, and you can be honest, some people in here, in this room, is probably giving them money and fed the homeless. Not a bad thing, but it hurts them more than it helps. And the reason being is that they don't seek services that are available to them if people are giving them food, people are giving them clothing, people are giving them shelter in the form of sleeping bags, tents, and stuff like that. We go down every day and we offer services to the homeless through the Department of Mental Health, through city services, county services. We try to find a placement, but they will not take advantage of it if they're getting something else from someplace else. And one of the reasons why they don't take advantage is because when they go to a shelter, they got rules. They have to apply by the rules, or they get in trouble, they get kicked out. Down at 17th and Grand, in that nice little condo someone supplied with them, furniture, excuse me, they don't have rules. So they stay down there, churches come, they feed them 3 times a day, they give them water, they give them clothing, they give them money to go buy coffee and other stuff. And it's a hard life, but it's a life they're willing to accept. And unfortunately, the encampments get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's when we had to come in. Homelessness is not a police issue. It's not a law enforcement issue. It's a society issue. But unfortunately, it gets thrown on our back because we had to deal with the criminal element that supports most of them, and we had to deal with the fact that most of them are mentally ill, and they need someone that has enforcement ability to take care of that. Okay? So we're working to get rid of the homeless encampments, get them out of there, get them services. We're really starting to enforce the laws regarding keeping the tents up during the daytime. In the city of LA, you cannot have a tent between 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. at night. An inclement weather like this, we're not going to be cold-hearted. I went by the homeless encampment at 18th and Hope, and they asked if they could keep their tents up, and I said yes. Because I'm not going to have them out there getting sick, causing a burden to the system when they could be inside dry, inside their tents. So we're not cold-hearted. When you see us out there, we're not the mean enforcement team that's kicking them off the streets. We offer them services. We provided services for them. They refuse to take it, and so to protect society from the germs and disease that come associated with some of these encampments, we come take the stuff. And if you ever see the guys that go out there, they are in full hazmat uniforms. They put liquid in separate containers. They really do a thorough job because they don't know exactly what it is. And half the time, the people don't know what's in there. They find it and it looks good, let's keep it. That's what they do. Weekly crime staff meetings. We are constantly analyzing crime in Central Division. We're constantly redeploying our troops, if you want to call it that. Every day at 10:30, well, let me backtrack. Every day at 6 a.m., we get a crime map from the day before. We look at what's going on in the division, and we come up with a meeting at 10:30, what we call our crime control meeting, and we redeploy for that crime. If there's an uptick in thefts down here, you get more services down here. If there's an uptick in BF&Bs, burning more vehicles, you get more services. If there's nothing, then we send them someplace else. We send the bike unit, which is basically our enforcement wing, up to the fashion district or up into the historic core of the city, downtown area. We also have a weekly meeting that South Park attends, which is our main crime control meeting, where we go over the whole enchilada. We analyze every crime that we have in Central Division, why it occurred, why we think it happened, and we try to foresee and plan for the future. And that's where the bids come in, because they got valuable information they give us. I mean, me and Officer Reedy, we're here 10, 12 hours a day, but the bids here, you saw the schedule, they're here a lot more extensively. They understand what's going on, why something might happen, and they give us a tremendous amount of leads. And that's not where we end, excuse me. Crime analysis, our watch commanders are constantly reading the reports, redeploying basically on radio calls, and sometimes you might see cops driving down here like crazy, you might think something's happening. Most of the time it's just that we send people down here to give extra patrol. If you ever have a problem down here, you want to know why there's 10, 15 units, I got weekly cards, come see me for a business card, call my cell phone number, I will tell you why there's 10, 15 police cars down here. Like I said, truth, I'm not going to hide anything. Okay, if there's something serious, I'm going to let you know something serious. If there's someone we're looking for, I'm going to let you know. So programs are coming up in the future. We're expanding our business boosters to include all of Central area. We're expanding our neighborhood watch program to include homeowner association. Your turn's next. And I'm coming up with a new program next year after the holidays called Dog Watch. I noticed that South Park has an extensive Muppet Station, is that what you call it? Muppet Station, okay. I call it something else. But anyways, if you notice around the division, around South Park, let's put it that way. If you notice, everyone, you see people walking the dogs everywhere. Okay, they could be my eyes, ears, and with some information on how to report crimes and stuff, they will be a valuable source to protect the area. I know South Park wants you to call their security team for anything suspicious. I want you to call LAPD too. You see someone hanging out, you know your neighborhood. They weren't there before, they're not supposed to be there. I always say if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's probably going to be a duck. Call us, let us come out, let us make a determination, talk to the person, find out why they're there. We have the right to do that. Find out what's going on. It might be legit, it might not. If it's a bad guy, we come out and talk to him, I guarantee he's going to leave after we talk to him. Bad guys aren't dumb. They don't want to go to jail. There's no profit in going to jail. So they're going to come, we'll come, we'll take care of it. They'll leave if they don't have no place of being there. If there's legitimate, you'll see us pull off and see us shake their hand probably, and we'll leave. Okay? So I think you got anything you want to say, Officer Reedy?
Hello, how are you? Is everybody?
Would you like to stick?
I don't even know what I just said. Okay, is it English now? Hello, everybody. My name is Dan Reedy. I got 27 years on the job. I've been a senior lead since 1997, and I'm not here to blow sunshine. You know how it goes. I'm just saying that I don't know how we get police work without bids, because South Park bids outstanding for us, and the stuff they do, it makes my job a lot easier. I know there's probably people in here saying, man, 17th and Grand, what took you so long? What's wrong with that guy? He doesn't drive around here. I do. It just, that homeless issue that Sarge stated, it's a tough issue. It's a political issue, it's a society issue, it's just a life issue. So, it is what it is. I'll do what I have to do. Okay, get positive now. I don't get all negative. Anyway, South Park bid's outstanding. Like I said, thank you everybody for coming. I know there's gonna be, questions and answers coming up after. So if you have any questions, want to ask me, can I give you my phone number? Let me give my phone number real quick. It's 213-486-1161. That's my desk number. My cell is a city cell, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if people have been trying to call me, yeah, I haven't called you back, sorry. But anyway, thank you for coming, guys.
What's that number one more time?
213-486-1161. Don't even ask me that again, because I think I said it right. 1161. Thank you.
Thank you both. So we're going to sort of touch on some of the homeless issues. And LA is a unique city in that we have a lot of lawsuits and injunctions that have been actually put against the city that make it very challenging and difficult to deal with the homeless issue. Things that are getting worked out across the city, we'll sort of, with Sarah and Kurt, get into that in just a second. But I do want to introduce, many of you know her, Sarah Hernandez. If we couldn't have the councilman, we'll gladly take you. She has been working with the councilman doing downtown economic development and working with many of the businesses and developers to make sure that things are streamlined and have a pleasant experience. As everyone probably knows, most of our district does lie in Councilman Weezar's district. LA Live and the Convention Center are in Curran Price's district, which is CD9. So we're unique in that we kind of are represented by two councilmen, but CD14 is predominantly our district. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah, who's going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've been working on together and other initiatives that her office is working on, and anything else that you think everyone may find interesting.
Hello, my name is Sarah Hernandez, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm the Downtown Area Director and Special Counsel for Councilman Jose Weezar. I manage the downtown team, which is basically a lot of work that we do in downtown, economic development, constituency issues, policy issues, public infrastructure projects. It runs the gamut of just really building a city within a city, and really trying to usher downtown through this really, really exciting time. I'm a downtown resident, I live in the historic core, so I want to share the excitement that many of you have living in this part of the city. The council member is really, really aggressive about pushing downtown forward, whether it be through economic development or improving livability or tackling some of our policy challenges, because we firmly feel that there's a new sense of urbanism in Los Angeles as a whole. And it's happening here in downtown, and it's not only beneficial just for downtown, it's really beneficial for this city to truly provide a model where you have this mixed-use development. You have people who are living here, you have people who are working here, you have people who are visiting here, and tourism that's happening with the Convention Center and LA Live. So it's a really, really exciting time. When the council member took over this area, he basically developed 3 priorities where all of our work fits into. And one of that is improving livability for the people that for the people that live here in downtown. The second is to promote economic development and tourism, and continue that movement forward. And the third is to connect the distinct neighborhoods that we see in downtown through alternative forms of transportation, and really putting an emphasis on creating more walkable, more bikeable streets by improving streetscaping, improving wayfinding, and really creating a comprehensive downtown core. So those are the 3 priorities that we kind of basically fit all of our work into. And we're doing a huge amount of work in downtown. Some of it touches South Park, some of it doesn't. We're doing, the 6th Street Bridge is a huge public infrastructure project that we're working on. Many of you know what we've done with bringing back Broadway. The council member has tackled Pershing Square and started a public-private partnership with Pershing Square Renew. He is in the process of creating new parks in the Arts District, and first in Broadway. We are doing economic development throughout the downtown area, but it's an extremely, extremely exciting time. I'm gonna just touch on a few things that you might be interested in and then open it up for questions, because I think it's probably more beneficial if you really kind of address the issues that you feel are most pertinent to South Park. So number 1, Sergeant Flanagan touched on this, is homelessness, and it is a huge issue. It is the most important issue in downtown, no matter who you're talking to, whether it's an economic development perspective or a public safety perspective or a social justice perspective, everybody in downtown cares about that. I live on 5th and Broadway, which I think LAPD can attest is probably one of the most challenging corridors in downtown. So I know this problem very, very well. I see it every day, literally, whether I'm at work or living my life. It is a challenge that is extremely difficult for the city to handle because of the injunctions and the lawsuits that have been brought against the city. It is not a law enforcement problem, but we've made it that. In the past few years, we've tried to litigate our way out of it and realized that that doesn't work. So one of the biggest challenges that we have really faced is how do we deal with this? And how do we deal with this in a city that is very fragmented? All of our social services, whether you're talking about public health, mental health, health services, we have no control over that as the city of Los Angeles. That is actually a county function, which is very unique to Los Angeles. That's not necessarily how things work in New York City. And so our work with the council office has really been how do we create these partnerships and work in conjunction with the county so that we are all moving forward in the same direction. And so that's what we've started in this past year. The city is in charge of making sure that your streets are clean and safe. We could not do that in downtown without the support of the BID. In fact, I'm sure that many of you would probably agree with me in saying that they really do that job much better than the city has ever done, and we absolutely really need them in this work moving forward. That being said, with an injunction that was placed in Los Angeles and with a citation that the county put on the city, specifically having to do with cleanliness issues in Skid Row, the city has put a lot of money into keeping the Skid Row area clean, and that is a program called Operation Healthy Streets. We started that about 2 years ago. There's been a lot of criticism in the sense that many people feel like this is rolling a rock up a hill. Like, you're cleaning the streets, but you're not truly addressing the actual problem, which is the people that are there. And so this past 6 months, the council member has started a program which is a coordinated effort with the county to create a more robust system where we're going out with county outreach workers and truly trying to address the needs of those people that are on the streets, whether it is the mental health crisis that we're seeing play out in downtown, whether it is ensuring that we can get them access to permanent housing, access to medical care, ensuring that they can get all the documentation that they need to seek out those services, but most importantly, it's changing the culture that we see in Skid Row in general, that it is not okay for you to sit on the street and die in the public realm. You will have someone every single day, ideally in the future, that is coming up to you and ensuring that this is not how things are going to happen in LA. We are going to be pushing for people to get services and increasingly putting that pressure so that they can get the help that they need. I saw Dawn here right now, who is a community volunteer with Operation Healthy Streets. We're actually starting a volunteer component of this because there's so many downtown residents that have come up to me and come up to the council member and said, I feel like I want to be an active part of this solution rather than sitting back and kind of critiquing everything that we are definitely doing wrong. So we've started a program. If any of you are interested in that, it is basically a volunteer component of Operation Healthy Streets. You will be going out with professional outreach workers on the streets of Skid Row and really helping to address this issue, making sure that people are entered into the coordinated entry system that has newly been formed so that we can start tracking folks and making sure that we can connect them with services. So that's a huge ongoing effort. We're hoping that that will just grow more and more, and so that it encompasses all of downtown, and we're really kind of tackling this problem with a results-driven focus. Homelessness, obviously, huge issue. Second issue that I know that is very something that is a huge focus in South Park are sidewalks, because you have these lovely ficus trees that have grown and definitely become a problem in terms of lifting up the sidewalks and making it difficult to have that sort of pedestrian-friendly experience. The South Park BID has been a pioneering force in really pushing the city to really help fix this problem and really take this challenge head on. So our office submitted a motion that basically allows for fees to be waived so that the BID can go in and fix sidewalks that they think are huge problems in your area. We've also taken some discretionary funds from our own office account and fixed a specific problem area on, I think that's 501 Pico, or is this 501 Pico? Right, so, I mean, we understand that this is an absolute priority, not just here in South Park, but across the district. The city has completely failed, in a sense, in terms of being able to keep up with the upkeep of our sidewalks and our streets. And so we know that this is an absolute priority here in South Park, and so we're really working very, very closely with the BID to ensure that we can really start to create some solutions and help work together to fix that problem. I'm going to open it up for questions now, because I'm just curious to know if there's anything that anyone would like to address or a question that they want to ask.
Do you have a status on the livability committee that was supposed to be forming? They were asking for representatives from different buildings in the downtown area, and I think that's been ongoing for probably 3 or 4 months now. Just curious where that is in the process.
So I think what you're referring to is the residential task force. Yes. So what we wanted to do, since we, the work that we do is unique to other parts of the city in that we're dealing with business, we're dealing with small business, we're dealing with big business, we're dealing with a lot of different types of sectors in the downtown area. So we did, because there is this increasing residential population, 10 years ago it was a little over 10,000, we're now over 50,000. It's projected by 2018 we'll have over 80,000 people living in downtown. So we wanted a group of that really represented the residential interests here in the downtown area. And so what we've been asking is for a resident representative from each residential building in the downtown area. And we were able to meet twice. And where we're at in that process is really trying to define what is one sort of goal or one sort of issue that we can tackle on that task force that really pertains to every different part of downtown. In our last meeting, that again, it came back to homelessness and dealing with the mental health crisis that we have in downtown. So we're in the process of kind of refining that issue and figuring out how can a residential task force actually do something around that issue and push that forward.
How do you reconcile the street vending issue with the quality of life for residents issue?
That's a great question. So, and I figured that was going to come up, but I was going to wait till someone actually brought it up. So some of you went to City Hall yesterday and spoke out about street vending. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Street vending is an issue that my boss has taken a position where he is in favor of the legalization of street vending with added regulation. I know that that's an opinion that many people don't agree with here in downtown, and it's been something that we have grappled with as an office in representing different parts of the district that have conflicting opinions. So many of the advocates that we see for the legalization of street vending are advocates that come out of our Boyle Heights communities and our El Sereno communities, and I feel that it's a sense of a livelihood for some of those residents that really that can be made better if there is regulation and quality control. And so what we see here in downtown is we see that there is this moratorium on street vending right now. But what I'm sure you can tell me and what I know from living in downtown is that there's a complete lack of enforcement on that moratorium. So what we have is just the rampant proliferation of an illegal act that has no sort of quality control, no sort of regulation, and no sort of guideline in how we create a really healthy sort of enterprise. And so what this piece of policy is doing moving forward is not just legalizing something that previously wasn't allowed, but it's actually putting some thoughtful analysis into creating regulation and looking into how we create a robust enforcement system so that we actually can tackle those who are on the street that are not doing what we want to do and not moving our communities forward. And so what was really, really important yesterday, and the takeaway that people really need to remember, is that this is not, moving forward, we are not legalizing street vending and just walking away and cleaning our hands of it. What we're doing is we're getting a report back from the city that is really taking a thoughtful approach to how do we create guidelines that are going to push this community forward and other communities within Los Angeles, but then also where are we going to find the funding to ensure that we have the proper enforcement, because that's what we see specifically in downtown with illegal vending is we simply do not have the resources to enforce the rules that we set. And so I think that's something that we're really, really working on, making sure we do right this time, is that we have the proper resources and capacity to ensure that whatever we put forward is going to be something that, you know, works for this community and other communities across Los Angeles.
The council member, your boss had proposed that there should be a homeless czar, I think is what the term he used, and the idea being that that the current kind of management structures are a bit dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And there's not very much accountability in the system. Where is that?
So that motion is, it went to committee, it hasn't been heard at committee, and we're hoping to push it forward. It really depends on whether we can get some support from our fellow council members and our mayor. What we found very, very quickly is that downtown is shouldering the burden of a homelessness problem that is not just a city problem, it is a Southern California, if not a national problem. We have great weather here with the exception of the past few days, and we are dealing with everyone else's homeless issue. And so when we started with Operation Healthy Streets, and I spent, you know, the first 2 weeks down in Skid Row trying to coordinate, we realized that this is a full-time job. As a council office, dealing with all the issues that we have, we simply don't have the capacity or the power to really push some reforms that are forward that are needed in this city to address homelessness. And so that is where we kind of came up with the idea that we need some sort of homeless coordinator or czar, whatever you want to call it, to really take a collaborative approach to how are we gonna deal with this throughout the city. Just because people are here in Skid Row doesn't mean that they were born and raised here. You know, you develop an addiction out in the valley in Tarzana and eventually you make your way to Skid Row. It doesn't mean that it's a downtown problem. It means that we don't have the resources in the valley, we don't have the resources on the west side that are truly allowing those communities to address the homelessness issues that they have within their communities, and then it becomes our problem. So we're hoping that we can get the support to create a position like that. It's in flux right now, and so that's something if you're interested in, would love to discuss more, because having community support around that would be key.
One more question?
With the redo of Pershing Square and now the park being added up in the Arts District, are we going to be getting any kind of park actually in South Park?
In South Park? So we'd love to. So I believe that there's a parklet program that is going on, and we've worked with actually a number of developers. I don't want to call them out, but I'm not going to call them out because we don't know if it's permanent, but we definitely have worked with a number of individuals that are developing projects in this area that do want to create some sort of open space for the community to enjoy. It's a challenge because, as you know, property and land values in downtown are astronomical right now. So finding ways that we can create open space and green space has become definitely a challenge that we have to apply some innovation to. So whether it's parklets, whether it's creating these little green nooks or green walls, or really pushing our developers to create some open space within their projects is something that we're pushing for right now. We don't have any particular city project to create a park in South Park.
Okay, Linda, you're last. Yeah, you got it.
Could you say something about the concept of the Walkable Streets program and how that might affect Hope Street, and if it does, when that might happen?
Yeah, so, you know, what we're seeing, many of you know what we've done on Broadway. We have the Broadway Streetscape Plan, and what you're seeing right now is what we call a dress rehearsal. It's what they did in Times Square in New York City before they were able to do the complete streetscaping. And so that has been a great success in really encouraging more walkable and pedestrian activity. And we want to move that, you know, and spread that sort of energy around downtown. So there's a variety of ways that we're doing that with the Broadway Streetscape. That is a lot of, you know, government dollars and funding that are going into that project. On 7th Street, we have plans for streetscaping, and a lot of those resources are coming from the Wilshire Grand Project and possibly what Rakovich is doing over at the Macy's Plaza. So that is an example of really where we're pushing private developers to help us create, you know, make that vision a reality. On Hope Street, I know that there's a huge issue with parking in South Park, so we've been in conversation with the BID in regards to creating some, is it vertical? Diagonal parking on Hope Street, which one allows for more parking in the area, but at the same time slows traffic down so that you can create a more walkable environment. On top of that, it's also pushing developers that have projects in the area to really think very thoughtfully about how you create streetscapes and widen sidewalks when their projects go in, so that we're also creating that sort of environment. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Sarah. The council office really has been such a fantastic partner, and we'll get into some of the other green alleys, parklets a little bit later in the presentation. But I want to introduce our third and final, or our speaker from the city today. We're really lucky. Some of you may know that our new city attorney, Mike Brewer, when he came in, one of the great things that he did was reinstituted the neighborhood prosecutor program. And we're very fortunate to have Kurt here today. He is our assigned neighborhood prosecutor and works diligently with LAPD, the BID, and other entities in the neighborhood. So he's very informed specifically on the crime issues, prosecuting issues here in South Park. And he's also represents the city, so he has a very in-depth understanding of some of the lawsuits and the other issues, that injunctions that Sarah mentioned. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kurt. Thank you for being here, and he can tell us a little bit more about what he does and explain some of the complicated problems our city faces.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you, Jessica. South Park is an incredible asset for us. I see Sergio at the, where's Sergio? I see you at the Tuesday meetings. I look at the crime maps. That 3 to 5 minute response to deal with issues really helps deal with issues before they escalate and really get implanted in the community. As a city attorney, as a deputy city attorney working for Mike Brewer in the area, a lot of the quality of life issues for a vibrant community, which South Park is, the justice system is ill-equipped to deal with them in an effective manner oftentimes. So we're looking for unique ways to deal with things where we have this new thing called the Neighborhood Justice Program, which we've been rolling out. It's going to be community panels to help deal with quality of life issues. And when I evaluate crimes that occur, a lot of quality of life crimes, as I've heard mentioned, whether it be homeless-related stuff or aggressive panhandling, sleeping on the sidewalk or not, you could just take the case, file it, and go to court. The court's just going to book and release, cut them out. There's going to be really very little offense, little consequence to that action. Instead, what we're aggressively doing is looking at it as a symptom of a deeper problem. And working with the council district's office, with that amazing work that Sarah's been doing. She's been working 24/7 on that, Operation Healthy Streets, which is very innovative. Coordinating services with the county. If somebody's out there aggressively panhandling, yes, you could prosecute them for aggressive panhandling. And if they continue to do so in the face of offer of services, that will occur. But our first line of response, we feel the humane response, and the ultimately long-term solution to deal with those issues is to get the offer of services out there. And so one of my goals in the next year is to work with Jessica, work with Sergio, to work with the offer of services for you guys as well, in addition to the great work you guys do out there to do that, because that's our strategy to help deal with it. We find that strategy, oftentimes people don't want to accept services. They'll go to a place where they're not bothered with that. And they'll deteriorate on the street in that location. We think it's the humane response because if they accept services, they can ultimately get and turn their life around. I've seen it firsthand going to the missions downtown. I spent a lot of time in the Skid Row area, in the downtown area. And so as far as the city attorney is concerned, we're going to be looking at extrajudicial ways to help deal with these quality of life issues, which are on the doorstep of this beautiful region of South Park here. Going forward in the next year, that's going to be my goal as a city prosecutor. Yeah. All right? Thank you.
So as you can see, we are a fortunate community in that we have everyone here today who's committed to these causes, and we have great folks at the city who are partners with us, because it does take a village. Go back. Yeah, so some of the things that I just want to highlight that the BID is doing, it's not all doom and gloom. City advocacy, I spend a lot of my time at City Hall. I've actually been at City Hall more than I've been at the office in the last couple of weeks. I should have a new parking spot there. But yesterday, as most of you know, we were at the street vending hearing. We're really going to continue to work with the city and press the issue of enforcement. In our sort of view, it's not really is vending good or bad or right or wrong. It's really, does the city and how is the city going to have the resources to maintain and enforce a program, and how can our bid officers be a part of that? So like Sarah said, the motion was, or the request was for the committee to come back with recommendations. And just so you know, I'm very active in those discussions on ideas for how to actually implement a program that's going to work and be sustainable. We also need you guys. We need to know when you see things going on. We have people out, but we can't be everywhere all the time. And a lot of times when you see something that's a repeat issue and we get a call, well, hey, this is happening all the time. It's like, this is the first time we're hearing of it. So use the 24/7 hotline number, call it at all times. There's never, you can never call or bother us too much. If we don't know it's a problem, we can't do anything about it. And I think last year, the encampments had become a really significant issue. This year was the street benches. And as Steve pointed out, when we know what's going on, we can rearrange our deployment of, to meet those needs, and we've had great success. So keep calling us, keep letting us know. Just because you see it, don't assume that we see it. We are also, just to kind of give some context, a lot of these lawsuits involve removal of personal property. And what is considered personal property? Is a couch, is a shopping cart. The bid cannot legally dispose of things, and this is how folks have gotten in trouble, and you can see my colleagues here nodding, with throwing things away prematurely. So if you see something, be patient with us. Know that we would love to just go throw it away, but that could result in a lawsuit against the bid, and that would put us out of business. We have a new system where we tag things. If it's a cart, a hot dog cart, it actually does involve the county health department. I happened to point out yesterday at the hearing that the county health department has never returned a call or a voicemail of the 20 times that we've called them in the last 2 weeks. I had 2 people from the county health department approach me right after that, give me their cards, and we do have a meeting set up with them next week to talk about how to deal with the cart issue. So know that we are working on that. We are also, Sarah mentioned the coordinated entry system. As some of you who may follow these issues know, there's the Home for Good program. And what they're really trying to do with great success, it was a federally requested initiative that LA has actually taken on and had great success. It's being run through the United Way, which is a nonprofit. Victor's team actually went out, and because we know who's out there, have formed pretty much a binder on all of the homeless and transients that frequent the area. We've taken pictures, we've sort of documented their stories. And what our big goal for next year is, like Kurt mentioned and Sarah mentioned, is to really work with the providers and getting the folks that are here help. It is not an enforcement issue. Asking our LAPD officers just to push them outside our boundary or push them outside of our eyesight is not a way to sustainably deal with the problem. So we are really, the bid is really committed to working with United Way, with the LAPD, the council office, to make sure that we're doing our part to get people the help that they need. So know that that is a big priority for us, and we've already taken the first step in doing so, and we've gotten a lot of really good feedback on that. There's also was a plan for Hope that was released for downtown. The councilman had a 400 plus roundtable discussion with all of the city players. We have it posted on our website. I encourage you all to read it if this is an issue you care about. It has a lot of ideas. It's a little fragmented in terms of how do you move it forward, but I think each of you taking the time to look at it, writing a letter to the bid, to the council office, really starts to help us prioritize how to go about resolving this problem. So get involved if you care, don't just complain, do something. Kudos to Dawn for stepping up, that's really awesome of you. So with that, I'm going to completely transition now out of the homeless transient issues into some of the exciting things that we have been working on this year. Many of you may be aware of some of them. Sarah mentioned the sidewalks, and this has been an 8-month, I think, process. We have some really great news to report. When I started here at the bid last year, Bob over here was when I was interviewing for the job, was like, how can you get the sidewalks fixed? I have no idea. So we ended up finding a contractor who does a technique called saw cutting. And essentially what that is it's shaving down concrete. It's not replacing it, and it's not grinding it. And the city does not have a permit to do saw cutting repairs. However, it retains the integrity of the sidewalk and it can live much longer, so to speak. So what we did was we started working with the Bureau of Engineering and Street Services. We did a survey of the district which outlined all of the problem areas. And this, just as a side note, this does not include sidewalks that have issues due to trees. If you include the trees, it becomes a whole nother expense and conversation, and we're gonna just really focus on the parts of the sidewalk that are uneven. And you can see the number of locations per street, and we worked on this report. We got it approved by the Board of Public Works unanimously. This has never been done in the city of LA, and the bid was given a blanket permit to make all of the saw cutting repairs that we want over the course of the next 2 years. So that's really great. And then on top of that, the council office has been great in terms of waiving the fees. So it's reducing our costs dramatically, it's streamlining the process, and we're actually going to begin work probably in January, maybe at the end of this month, on actually repairing 780 locations in the South Park District. So the work, we'll be sending out notices to each of the businesses. We're going to be doing it in hours that don't impact. If you have a question or a concern with that, please let me know. But I just want to thank the council office in particular for being such a partner. We're going to start on Hope Street, go down Grand, and then go Venice, 12th, Olympic. And just so everyone's aware, the repairs will not occur in places where there's going to be redevelopment within the next year or two. So the goal here was really to fill in the gaps of the blocks where you're going to have a developer come and then you're going to try to climb up the sidewalk on Hope Street and hope you don't trip and fall. And all of these repairs will bring all of the sidewalks into ADA compliance. So this is something that the city is actually hoping that more bids will do, and it's a really great project for us. And thank you to all the SOBO committee members who helped work on that. As you could tell from the video, public art has been a big focus of ours, and we had, with a partnership with the Do Art Foundation, many of you have met Carmen. She's been very aggressively working with us and the various developers in the area to incorporate more innovative art that's highly curated for South Park. Each piece we hope to be designed specifically based on the South Park story. Many of you know the Preciousness of the Hunt that went up on the Flower Street lofts by Faith 47. She is a famous South African artist, and we pulled that together within like a week, and she put it up in two days. It was a really a great community story. As you can see, most of you have some very exciting news to report. George Pekar, who owns the parking structure on 11th and Hope, which is, I think we can all agree, not the most gorgeous building in downtown LA, has really undergone, and he's taken on the financial commitment of painting the entire structure. You may see it's a gray-blue that sort of fades on each level, and we've found very, very well-known, famous two artists, Dev Negosha, and they are going to be painting, that's not the actual image, but it's going to be each level of the parking structure will be painted sort of with a movement element on both the Hope side of the parking structure and the 11th Street. So this has never really been done anywhere, much less in Los Angeles, and it's really transforming a 7-story parking structure into an iconic piece of art that we really hope is going to draw a lot of attention. You may have seen the Swan mural was actually coined one of the best murals in downtown LA by the Huffington Post, and I think this is going to completely fit in as well. So that will actually, it was supposed to be started on yesterday, but of course it decided it's going to rain. So by the end of this week, I think you're going to see for the next month or so the painting going up. So it's going to be really fantastic. Street trees. We've had many great partners, and some of them are here today from Melendrez and Mia Lair and Associates. This is an inventory of every type of tree species in the district. It's a pretty aggressive map. My Latin, it was not good enough to understand all of the various tree species, but what we have done is taken an inventory of the trees. It took us 5 months to get a walk with the Urban Forestry Department to come up with a recommended street tree palette for the district. And why this is important is so when developers come in, they can have a palette of trees to choose from that really cultivates the district identity, as well as developers or property owners who want to remove trees and have to go through the very annoying process of going through public works, even though the trees are tearing up the sidewalks. This pre-approved palette really gives justification to that and helps us make the case for new and different trees. The other side of this is we've been working with the City Plants program, which is a great program that the LA Conservation Corps is also a partner with. And we're taking advantage of a grant to basically plant free trees in the district. So we secured 20 new trees. Most of them are in the southern part of the district due to the vacant tree wells. And the trees will be planted in January. So we're gonna have 20 new trees. They're gonna be baby trees. The bid is gonna take on responsibility for watering them. If you are a property owner and you want to have a tree planted, especially if you have a well, let us know. We can set that up. It's actually a gold mine, you guys, to get free trees planted, and the bid can take on the responsibility. So it's at no cost to you to take advantage of this. So look out for that next year as well. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to my other Jessica colleague to quickly run through what she's been working on pretty aggressively this year.
I'm Jessica Mandelbaum, and I joined the bid team earlier this year to concentrate on economic development and retail attraction. To be honest, when I first learned about South Park, really all I knew about was AEG, Staples Center, and LA Live, and I really didn't know what I was taking on until I started my first day here. And I was so pleasantly surprised to find out that all the vacancies that exist here most of them are absolutely gorgeous. And it just begged the question of, why are they vacant? Why aren't there tenants filling these amazing places in the place to be? And what I discovered was it really needs, South Park needed to be on the map. And how could we get South Park on the map so that people understand when we talk about downtown Los Angeles, we're not just talking about the financial district with all the tall buildings, that there's this wonderful gold mine, this wonderful neighborhood that people should want to be part of. So it really became just an educational process and creating educational tools to throw a net out there to retailers, restaurants, and other commercial operations just to say, hey, this is the place to be. So we launched a page on our website dedicated to commercial vacancies in the area, and working with all the various brokers and owners in the area, it just gives a comprehensive snapshot of all the opportunities that exist in the neighborhood. Also, to put South Park on the map, I've helped a little bit with the branding campaign that we'll get into a little bit more later on. But just to get people to know about South Park, to listen that it's not just a TV show, it is the place to be in Los Angeles, and why. And so, again, working with various tenant brokers, working with various property owners, we're just trying to fill all the vacancies with, what's needed here. And, some of the businesses that you know of are the Bricks, which hopefully if you've tried their food that they graciously gave us, LA Dance and Movement that we're very excited to come down here next year, Rapid Cycle, which is a bicycle company that's here, local restaurants that we're very excited for them to make their own announcements, but they'll be opening next year as well. But we're getting a lot of activity. We have Google car coming around here all the time, showing, how the neighborhood's changing. And let me know if you know any businesses that are looking for new locations, for looking their first location. And I'm just here to help, so thank you.
Jess has really done an outstanding job, and part of the point of all of this is to really bridge what the community wants in the neighborhood with, development and what's coming online, so it's not sort of happening in a vacuum. And she's done a really fantastic job and planted a lot of seeds that we expect to continue to flourish. So with that, just green carpet events, we've been having them. The next one is on January 20th at the Bottle Rock, excuse me. There's a flyer up there. We encourage you to attend. The branding campaign, as many of you may have seen at this point, we have a fantastic billboard on the Packard Lofts. I want to thank Venice Investments for really allocating us that space. We'll get into that in just a moment. AEG Creative, Todd Halk is here. He is the mastermind not only behind our logo, but our entire implementation. And really what we're trying to do now is use the branding campaign as a tool to attract the type of retailers and residents here to the district. And it's been really strategic. Many of you may have heard our spot on KCRW that was the opening for the video. We've, the auto show gave us free ad space in their brochure. You can see that up there, along with the neighborhood map. Our street banners are up, the holiday decor is up, and we're going to continue to roll this out into next year. And I think it's really exciting that our marketing committee, many of you sit on that, Terry's been great, and Peter, really is a community-driven sort of implementation. And it's really exciting, and we really want to continue to cultivate the community here in South Park. Amanda, many of you know Amanda, our Director of Planning and Communications. She had a family emergency. This is totally her baby, and I'm just going to do my best to do it justice. Like Sarah mentioned, we have been approved for a parklet on Hope Street. It's actually going to be right in front of the mural, in front of the bricks. So we've been super fortunate to have Mia Lair and Soda donate their time and their architecture expertise to actually build the construction plans and design something that looks this really, I think, exquisite and sophisticated, really playing off the branding with the spotlight theme. And we're working with developers to actually help procure the materials. We should be submitting our final application to DOT. It has been approved. And really next year, we're going to be responsible for building it. And so we hope that this is going to be the first of many parklets. Going to the question of Hope Street, we're really prioritizing that as sort of our pedestrian corridor. And there are other developers that are interested in incorporating these types of features into the neighborhood. I think we are an urban environment and we can't just build an acre park, unfortunately. So what Amanda's really doing is looking at different ways so the response is that where is the park in South Park? And there actually is one across the street. It's the Venice Hope Park. But the goal is to really, actually think in my interview, I threw out the idea of changing the name South Park because it made no sense and almost didn't get the job. The concept that the board really had envisioned before I started was turning South Park into the park itself. So you're going to see us doing a lot of different interventions in the public right away and working with developers on integrating green space, and this is hopefully just one of many projects to come. Along those lines, most of you know that we partnered with the Urban Land Institute last year, and they did I know, it's sad, we need more parks, to do a visioning report for the district. And one of the ideas that came up was sort of activating the green alley, or activating alleys, really particularly in the east-west direction. You can see that's one alley that connects Hope to Flower Street. We were really fortunate to partner with Daniel. He's here from the LA Sustainability Collaborative. And they recruited 2 graduate fellows, one from SC and UCLA, we don't discriminate, to come up with a really robust plan, alley by alley for the district. Some of you may have seen the report, it's on our website. But really what we're trying to do here is, activate the space. We don't think we're going to restrict vehicle access. That isn't the goal. The goal is to really repave them, have business interests off the alley, and to really make them walkable, friendly green spaces that continue to build character. Because when you kind of look at that, it's really ugly and not something that people will want to walk down. So the report was just finalized. We're meeting next week with the planning department, and again, Councilman Weezar's office, Tanner, their planning deputy, to talk about ways to give developers credit for doing something like this. So instead of donating to a Quimby fee and where does that money go and who knows, they can actually invest in improving the space that's right on their block or on their building face and really serves the interests of the community. So look out, we're going to be sort of exploring avenues to do this next year. Okay, you want to come up, Robin, and help me think? So we've sort of mentioned a lot of different partners, and everyone is a partner of the bid, but there are, in particular, I would say 12 organizations that we identified this year that really went above and beyond anything that we could have asked for. So much of what has been accomplished this year could never have been done without our experts. I'm not an expert in anything other than trying to find good people to do good work for us. So with that, we want to recognize some folks here today and some organizations. Some of them couldn't be here today for their contributions this year to the bid formally. The first is the Do Art Foundation. Carmen, obviously she's really taken on South Park as her baby now, and she's directing all of these great artists into the district. She's not here today, but we will make sure that she gets her star. Next is Venice Investments. I think I saw Michael over here. Did he leave? Yeah, if you want to come on up. These guys, Packard Lofts, donated that key billboard space. What was it, 25 by 35? It's like life size for the bid to put the billboard there. And it's really great of them. They obviously could sell that space for a lot more than $0, which is what the bid paid for. So we thank you for the partnership and encourage you guys to check out Faces East. The next is Aon Risk Solutions. Rob Shepard couldn't be here, he's sick. They've been really a great partner in hosting our urban design forums with developers once a month. And also, Alan Mackins, is Fernando here? Did he leave? Alan Mackins and Aon have co-hosted those throughout the year, and it's really been a great space for us to bring together the planning department, the city, and developers to kind of have a brainstorm of how do we move things like the Green Alley Network forward. Soda Architects, Derek also couldn't be here, but they're a local firm. I actually went to college with Derek, he's an architect, and they have taken on the Parklet project in conjunction with the person that's listed next to really develop the construction documents for free and to design the parklet for, as you can see, it's a really cool design. So just wanted to formally recognize them. Also, Mia Lair and Associates, we have Jan here. Jan, she was on our ULI top study. She's been here, I feel like, since the beginning, and they have been so gracious with the tree project. They actually put together that really sophisticated map that we could never do. They took the inventory of the trees, they participated in the walk, which helped us inform the decisions of the street tree palette, and are working with us on the construction documents as well for the parklet. So you've been so integral, and we really appreciate all of it. Yeah, we love you. We love you right back. We also have Jenny here from Melendrez, and for those who aren't sort of in this landscape architecture world, Mia Lair and Associates and Melendrez are kind of the premier firms. I can't tell you enough. Melendrez and Jenny and Kelly and Melanie, we've had kind of all, they are actually consultants on a lot of the projects that are here in the district. So we've been able to really, also they've been involved on the street tree palette and just a variety of projects. So we thank you for your participation. Hope it continues. And I don't know that the Bureau of Engineering and Street Services really ever gets recognized, but for a good thing. But yesterday we had lunch with Mike Cantor from the Bureau of Engineering and Ron Olive, and they shepherd the sidewalk program through. Mike is retiring tomorrow, and he told Bob and I he would get that project done before his, as he phrased it, his last haircut. And he did, and he's growing his hair out now that he's working it for the city, so wanted to recognize them. And second to last but not least is Todd Hauk from AEG Creative. This man does all of the branding for AEG, so he's kind of a big deal as well. And we've had the great fortune of having him work with us on the logo design, the branding, and he's he's gone above and beyond the minimal dollars that we pay. We can call, Amanda's called him before our first ad went on and was like, help, we don't know what we're doing, we've never done this before. And he just like dictated over the phone some of the amazing stuff you've seen as it relates to the ad space, both print, on the banners, on the billboard. So we feel really fortunate to have your participation. It's been key. Our stuff looks excellent and really professional. So thank you, Todd. And last but not least, the LA Sustainability Collaborative. We have Daniel here, who's the board chairman. And his team, man, put in so many hours on our, is that?
This is Kristen.
Oh, sorry, nice to meet you. Kristen, also on the board. They really ran with the Green Alleys project, and this is something that we're really hoping not only is adopted here in South Park, but can be used citywide. So that was done for free for us, and we couldn't have been more pleased with the outcome. There's actually an article that was published in Planet Edison, which is sort of a thought leader magazine on the alleys, and it's been picked up. You're going to see an article and about a couple of other publications that we'll make sure to get out. So thank you guys. Can we give a round of applause to all of these people? Okay, and we want to quickly acknowledge one of our retiring board members, and he's retiring from the South Park bid board, not USC. He has been on the board pretty much, I think, since the bid formed. And USC, even though they're not in the district, they are obviously a powerhouse, and what they do impacts us directly, and we're going to continue to retain a really close relationship with David moving on into the future. And with every closing door, several new ones open. We have several new board members that are going to be joining us next year, putting our board at a total of 10 folks. I think we have 2 new members here. Jim Pugh, who works at Shepherd Mullen. He also lives at Luma. He also chairs the Central City, he's at the very back, he's being shy, Central City Association Housing and Land Use Committee. So he's very involved in downtown. He has a very sophisticated understanding of the issues that we face. He's been really involved with the bid, and he happens to live at Luma. So hey, it was a perfect match. And Daniel Taban, you're here. Daniel, his family, Jaden, has a family-owned company, Jade Enterprises. They own many pieces of property downtown, and most notably the one in South Park, Onyx, that's going to be built on the southeast and southwest corner of Hope and Pico. So you're going to be starting construction maybe early next year or so?
Hopefully.
And Daniel, I really want to point out like how committed they were to the bid pretty early on in their project last year. When the developers go through a process, they are, with the city, they're required to give public benefit dollars. And they go to things that, you know, like this Broadway streetcar or streetscape enhancement streetcar, the Metro Charter School. And Daniel was really gracious and allocated a good, I think, $90,000 to the bid as part of their development package. And we're going to really be talking next year about how to spend that money on streetscape enhancements. I know he's really interested in beautifying the neighborhood and making sure that it's something that serves us all. So I want to really thank you for that. And then Fernando, he was here, but I think he left. And Michelle, who lives at Evo and actually used to work here at the hospital. So we're really grateful. And the returning board members, Robin, you want to, our fearless chairman, who is a man of few words, but when he speaks, everyone listens. We call him the Pope. Shelby and Bob opened up. I personally want to thank these guys tremendously. You know, sitting on a board isn't always something, and Rich is here, and Nate. Is Nate still here? There he is. So can you guys all stand, the current board, this year's board? We'll give you a round of applause. Terry from the auto show is not here, but we are so fortunate. I think all the staff can attest to have such an engaged board, and they come to a lot of meetings and they're available all the time, and they have great support. So it's been such a pleasure having you all as my bosses, shall I say. Okay, so you have a sheet of paper. One has 2 surveys. Neighborhood watch topics. We hold neighborhood watch meetings quarterly. Please take those surveys and let us know. We did a good one on earthquake disaster. Maybe we can do one with Kurt once we have the topic that you were, the court system stuff that you were talking about. Neighborhood Justice Program, thank you, I'm sorry, it's late. And then the other is green carpet events. We've had 3. This is something that Jess has really spearheaded. We're bringing about 100 people into the businesses here locally. If you're interested, you don't have to be a restaurant. Please fill that out and she'll get in touch with you. Yep, all our notifications are on southpark.la. The other sheet is our meeting list. We have a lot going on. This is such a high-level overview. If you're interested in getting involved and rolling up your sleeves and getting into the minutiae of these things, please know that you can attend our meetings. They're open to the public. The 2 subcommittees are our marketing committee, which looks at a lot of the things like the branding campaign that we talked about, and then we have an operations committee that really works with Victor and Sergio on the clean and safety programs. So get involved. We're going to be starting a new system, so it's not my personal Outlook calendar, which I know is a disaster for some people, where you can sign up to get actual notifications. So we're going to send out an email on that, and you can click what meetings you want to get agendas for and notified on. So pay attention. We have a mobile app. Please continue to use it. If you have a security issue, call the hotline. Don't do it through the mobile app. It takes too long to respond. If you see graffiti, the mobile app is the perfect place to do that. Victor's team responds within 24 hours. And last but not least, we had 7 amazing local restaurants show up tonight and provide us with really excellent food. I don't need to list them off, but I don't think any of them are here. They're probably serving dinner at their restaurants. But if you go by, please thank them and recognize them. Please go to their restaurants. We got to support our local businesses. Huh? Yeah, go eat at their restaurants and pay. And tip well. So, is there anything else? There's the meetings and questions, comments. We covered a lot of things today, and we can do a few questions. I know everyone's eager to get out, and everyone knows I like to end on time, and it's already 2 minutes over. I don't want to be dismissive, but I do want to, before we leave, recognize Tammy. There she is. Tammy is our amazing office manager, doesn't even do it justice. She started with us 4 months ago? How long has it been that long? 6 months ago. She runs the show at the office. She keeps everyone on their toes, and I just want to, can you stand up and wave so everyone knows who you are? And thank you again to the hospital and Nate and Margaret, Dr. Peterson, for having us here. Are there any questions or comments? I don't believe you guys. You're being nice. Okay, really?
Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. And Amanda's not here, and so we miss Amanda. She had a personal issue. Please call us, email us, feedback, questions. Come to our meetings next year. Thank you to all our South Park stars who we recognize for all the work. And enjoy your evening.